brother, of course, he was older than me, so he was bullied me all the time. When I was younger, my brother molested me. I didn't know what it was, didn't know what was going on. But he also told me that if I told my parents, he was going to kill me. So, of course, as a young child, I kept it to myself. That began trust issues with me. Because I felt like if I can't trust my own family, then who can I trust? So I grew up with a very kind of dysfunctional childhood with my brother being older than me. Because by the time I get to school, he's already, all the teachers done met him, so I'm getting compared to him to everything. And it just, I felt like I always was out of place everywhere I went. The one memory I do have is watching every Sunday, me and my dad watched the rodeos. Because I grew up breaking horses and riding horses with him, so. And my favorite event always was the bull ride. So I remember looking back at Daddy one time when I was little, we sitting there watching, I said, I'm gonna be a bull rider one day. Dad, of course, just laughed, hey, yeah, right, son, you ain't gonna do that. Well, what did he know? I turned 18. I found a place that was doing bulls over there near the house, about maybe a couple miles away. So I sneaked out with a friend of mine. I went over there and went over there to go ride. And I told my mom, I said, don't tell Dad. I said, I want her to go ride some bulls. And of course, Mom, being what she did, she told Dad. So when I got home, my dad asked me how the ride goes. I said, what ride? He said, the bull ride. I said, I had a couple guys ride, you know, most of them got thrown off. He said, how'd your ride go? I said, what do you mean my ride? He said, your mama told me what happened as soon as you left. I looked at Mom, I was like, why? He said, you know I can't keep it from your dad. Well, I told him what happened. I managed to cover my first bull. He thought I got it. He looked at me and said, did you get out of your system fine? I said, no. I said, I need to get this gear. I listed all the stuff. He said, no, we're not doing that. So, of course, I decided, me being the little rebellious kid I'm going to be anyways, I'm going to go get the stuff myself anyways. So I got into bull riding, got to ride a little bit. After about 6 months being in, I got on what we call a Widowmaker style bull. This bull, I had no business being on the back of it. I'm not ready for this style bull. He comes out, pulls me down, and hits me in the back of the head. I honestly know what it feels like to be blind for a moment. I hit so hard I couldn't see nothing but pitch black dark. I hear everybody holler, get up. By the time I push myself to my knees, he done hit me in the back and started plowing me through the ground. So by the time I finally got out of the arena, a friend of mine helped me home. I couldn't even walk. He had to literally tuck me in the house, sit me on the couch. First word out of my daddy's mouth was, she don't fault. I don't care you got hurt. She don't stupidity for going to do that. I said, what's the difference between me getting hurt doing this and what you make me do stuff I didn't ride horses and stuff? He said, like I said, I don't care. I said, when I'm going to the hospital, I don't want you out there. Plain and simple. So I spent about 3 days in the hospital. Come to find out I had a broke pelvic bone almost all the way across the right side. I messed up a disc in my neck. Got a chip vertebrae in my back. Supposed to quit riding. Technically, according to the doctor, I'm supposed to be paralyzed from the neck down right now. I'm not supposed to be walking. So according to the doctor, I'm a miracle. I said, I don't know what happened. So as soon as I get home, of course, my dad still has no sympathy for me. First word out of his mouth, when you going back to work? Dad, I'm going to be out of work for 6 to 8 weeks minimum on crutches. No, you're not. You're going back to work. So after about 2 weeks of being on crutches, I had to go ahead and go back to work. Granted, of course, it didn't heal back right, so my pelvic bone messed up, so I walked a little bit of a limp. But once I fully healed back up a little bit, I stayed out riding for a little while. I went back in anyways. Rodeo is one of the things, if you ever get it in your blood, you're not going to get it out no matter how hard you try. She can verify that to this day. I still go to rodeo. I don't ride, but there's still one of those places that I go help put on, I help work and everything. You know, I keep saying I'm retired. What, 5 years now, I'm retired. But I healed back up, and I started traveling when I did the rodeos. This is when I learned how to start drinking really bad and started taking pills to numb the pain. This is also when I started learning how to use women for stuff I need, whether it be money for entry fees, money to secure the pain, just to keep me from being lonely, whatever. I was so bad at using women, I allowed to show up with one woman, leave with a different one, or leave with more. I just didn't care. I would just use women for what I wanted and let's use the pleasure and got out of there. Of course, unfortunately, again, I had more injuries. I've had my face stepped on. I've actually got a scar from here to here. I've been stepped on, split open. But the one final injury that sent me out was I broke my ankle. I thought I sprung it, thought I was going to be fine. So I hobbled around for several weeks, found out it was broke. By the time it was done, they could do it. So I tried to ride, wasn't holding. Ankle popping loose every time I'm hitting the dirt. So I'm like, well, fine, I'm going to have to give it up. So when I left there, I started staying in the bars a lot more because that's where we always hung out after rodeos. And that's when the drinking really got bad. But Also, when I was drinking, since I couldn't ride anymore, the boss gave me a job working on the ranch with him, helping him set up rodeos, do stuff around the ranch and all that. Well, I had a job where I could actually drink on the job now. That was not a good thing for me. I'd show up at work with a cooler full of beer and sit there and go work and be drinking all day. Finally, I decided I wanted to change the lifestyle for a little bit. So I got approached by a member of a motorcycle group about joining up with them. Because apparently I had what they had, the don't give a crap attitude. I'm not scared of nothing. So I spent about 3 years with them. I was running drugs, money, guns, anything I was told to do, I did. I didn't care. It didn't bother me at all. Finally, after being there for a little bit, I had the opportunity to go back into rodeoing. So, of course, there again, I took it. There again, once it's in your system, you ain't gonna get it out. So I rode rodeos for a little bit, and I was working them again. Well, I didn't really ride, I was working them. Around this time, I met somebody, and like normal, her family didn't really care, so I didn't really bother me anyway, so I was there for fun. But I wound up getting hurt again in the back pins. Or no, I wasn't in the back pins, actually, I was being a rodeo clown at this time. And being a rodeo clown, of course, you know, I gotta go out there and save the bull rider when he comes off. Well, this time a buddy of mine was riding but didn't have a vest, so I gave him mine. I'm like, okay, you're good about getting off and getting out, so I'll be good. No. He hung up. As soon as I went to jump over his head, the bull took his horn right below my rib cage and come straight up into me. So I went up to one of the hospital. And, which I finished out the rodeo course, I took through the pain. The girl I was dating was going to nursing school. She told me, oh, you probably just banged up, bruised up, nothing bad. Well, later on later that evening, I know something's wrong. I really feel like I'm dying. So by the time I get to the hospital, they told me, they said, luckily you came in. They said, your intestine kinked shut. We're going to give you some medicine. If this don't work, you're going to emergency surgery. I said, you're not cutting me open. They said, it's either that or you're going to die. I said, okay, fine, we'll do whatever. Luckily the medicine worked. Granted, I ain't gonna lie, some of the nasty sticks and stuff I ever tried to drink. They made me drink 2 bottles of it. Ugh. But they got me fixed up. Luckily, never again, no surgery. And I got out and I got back to working the rodeo some more. By this time, me and her split up after that. I said, if you're gonna sit there and basically not try to trust me when I need to go to the hospital, then we don't get to be together. So I wound up getting back with one of my exes. We decided to give it another try. After being together for a little bit, we had a little baby boy. He loved going to the ranch and getting to see all the different bulls and the rodeos and stuff. And one day we got ready to load up the bulls at the end of the rodeo. And of course, we leave the biggest bull we got named Train for the end because he's 2,500 pounds, but I'm going to eat you for lunch if I get the opportunity. And I take my son back there to see him. And of course, my son being little, he didn't know no better. He started laughing at the bull. And I'm going, son, please don't laugh at this bull because this is going to make it real bad for Daddy to have to load him here in a minute. Because this bull done started getting hot. He's already been bucked a couple times. He's mean. So, of course, we let him out. Or I put my son up and I go let the bull out. He goes down the alley. He turns around, sees me. Here he comes. I can promise you right now, I can clear a fence real quick if I have to.
I bet.
We got him loaded up and everything was taken care of. My son still found it funny. But then I was working down another rodeo and I got severely hurt again. And when I finally got home, after being at the hospital, that's when my son looked at me and told me I needed to retire. I said, no, son, I can't. He said, Daddy, I promise me you're going to retire. So I tried to retire for a little while. Well, come December 2014, I got a phone call that I didn't get to the hospital. Excuse me. Apparently my father had a heart attack. And by the time I got to the hospital, it was already too late. He was already on life support. In a coma, there was nothing we could do. Finally, we had to make the decision a few days later to take him off life support. Unfortunately, of course, we lost him. But, excuse me. Even though I may not have gotten along with him, we've had our times. We did have some good times, even though most of it was bad to an extent. My world really came crashing down. After this, me and my son's mother split. By this time, I stayed in the bar 24/7, drinking and doing everything I could to keep the pain, keep my depression away. I went back to hanging out with the MCs again, back into the outlaw world. That's when I was approached by a different style of outlaw group. They're now known as a terrorist style group. And they got mad because I wouldn't join. And so they started having it out for me. Well, I figured this is the way my life's supposed to be at this point. I figured nobody cares, you know, I brought it on myself. Well, God had other plans.
Amen.
I managed to take that situation and turn it around. Because basically what it was a clan group trying to get me to join them. I said, I'm not about your beliefs. I'm not with that stuff. I'm not about that. I'm not going to join you. They got mad, kept making threats. Well, luckily, the police got involved. After interviewing with the police, next thing I know, FBI agent walks in and says, we need to talk. I said, about what? He said, about what's going on. Thanks to that little interview, I managed to shut down at least 4 what they call terrorist groups, including that little clan group and some others. Because they basically took me, let me go infiltrate, get the information they needed to shut them down, and we closed them up quick. In November 2015, that's when I met my now wife. We didn't get to spend much time together because she was working 2 full-time jobs and we were in school full-time, but we still made a way to see each other. I was still drinking and hanging out with the wrong people, but she saw through it and loved me anyways. After being with her for a little while, that's when I decided I need to change my ways. I'm like, she's not about this. This ain't doing but driving a wedge between us. So I finally changed my ways. I was moving one day I was going to Duncanville, and I kept passing by this church. I saw this big tent set up. It was cooking food and stuff, and I'm just kind of like, what are they doing? Well, by that time, one of them flagged me down. And when he did, I told him I'll come back in a minute and get on over the truck. I come back, and I get out of the truck. By this time, they're still to an extent with the outlaw group, so I still had my cutter on, my knife on me, which I had a knife hung down on my knee, a couple of guns sitting on me. And this guy with a cowboy hat comes up, walks to me, and goes, hi, I'm so-and-so. And I'm looking at him going, who are you? Who do you think you are sticking your hand at me, bro? I don't know you like that. And so I asked him what's going on. He said, we're doing Celebrate Recovery. I said, well, what's that? And that's when he told me. He went over there and introduced me to the pastor, and we got to talking. He said, you need to come back next week. Check it out. I said, all right, I'll come check it out. So I go back the next week. That's when God literally just basically slapped me in the head and said, wake up, stupid. This is your chance to leave the lifestyle you want to get away from. This is the chance to make right for your family. So I get out of it. I immediately blow her phone up, telling her how much I enjoyed it and how much I got to be back. Here it is going on 7 years later, being in Celebrate Recovery. Come on.
Amen. Yeah. Woo!
I have my son back in my life. He's now 13 years old, which God don't think we're past now, apparently. I'm actually working on launching a cowboy church in Tuscaloosa. I have put the bottle down years ago. I managed to stay away from it. I managed to be living a clean life. My anger does not get to me anymore because I do maintenance out there where I work, and some of the residents make me just crazy. I just manage to walk away without doing what I'm supposed to. But a lot of it has to do with my wife right here standing beside me the whole time.
Amen. Amen.
Because without the support of her, and her helping me keep straight, there's no way I'd be here today.
Amen. Amen to that.
Because when I started getting out of whack, she'd look at me and go, now, why are you going to church and doing like this? You're not looking right. It's not going to be right if you're going to church and acting a fool out here. God didn't raise you to be like this. Said,
you go, girl.
Well, you know. She said, well, nothing. She said, you're either going to get right or else. And so, a while back, I had my shoulder replaced. Thanks to all the a couple motorcycle wrecks and my bull riding injuries, I had to get a shoulder replaced. For 6 months, I couldn't even use my arm. I couldn't even bend a finger. I'm sitting there walking around in a sling. Here I am trying to give up hope. And she's still telling me, no, bear through. God's got this. God did it for a reason. Here I am finally, a little while later, got my hand back finally. Because I was driving this at the time. I was coming back from Birmingham. I barely twisted that thumb. And I started crying. Because I thought for sure I lost my arm for good. I thought I was paralyzed. I was like, now I'm down to one arm. What's the point of having this? I need to cut it off. She kept telling me to bear through it. God did it for a reason. And sure enough, God did it for a reason. He's going to test you on how strong you are and how much you believe in him. He's going to put you through some stuff that you're not going to be ready for. But as long as you keep relying on him and praying to him, he's going to take care of it.
Amen.
Like I said,
Amen.
I started out doubtful about this, and she kept encouraging me, and all my church family kept encouraging me at the time. And I got to it. Here again, like I said, I've got full use back out of it. I've got my hands back. It's a blessing. But you've got to put your trust in God in order to get through any of this.
Amen.
No matter how hard your life's going to get or how it's going to seem, he's not going to give you something you can't handle. As long as
That's
you're
right.
relying on him and got him trusting you. If you don't trust in him, you're not going to get through anything. We can't do this on our own.
That's right.
I have failed many a times. I know she has failed, he has failed. We've all failed at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But as long as you've got God, you're not going to fail.
Amen.
As long as he's got in your life, you've got this made.
Amen.
There's a lot of stuff I didn't think I could do. I didn't ever think I was going to be a father. And I have a child. I never thought I was going to be able to be a good husband. But I don't still know about that part too much. But I was at least blessed with a good wife.
Amen.
I try my best. I mean, I'm a guy. What do you expect? We ain't perfect. And I got a 13-year-old child. So without God, I wouldn't have none of this at all.
That's right.
I would have never made it to where I made it. I worked this past rodeo a few weeks ago. We started down in Tuscaloosa. We had a bull that tried to get somebody. He finally did. She was worried I was going to get hurt because of the spot I was working. God watched me the whole time. My arm never got messed up like I thought it could. Many things could have went wrong, but nothing went wrong. God protected me the whole time I was sitting there. But like I said, with that said, you cannot do anything without God.
Come on.
If God is not in your life, you're not going to make this.
Amen.
If you want to change your life, you've got to give it to God. We can't change it as humans. We have to do it all through God. Because if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have met Daryl, I wouldn't have met his wife, I wouldn't have met nobody. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for God. I wouldn't be able to meet y'all nice people.
That's right.
And I tell you, after the songs y'all were singing earlier, it's like I told her, this is one of the best CRs I've been to in a long time. I ain't seen a CR this fired up in a while, and I would love it. This is a CR that's being fired up and working with each other.
Yes.
And I can promise you, even though I live a good distance away, I'll still be back. When I can, I'll come visit. You never know, it may surprise you on a Sunday and show up.
Come on, brother.
Kids up, brother.
Hey, you're more
Yeah.
than welcome. We're glad to have you.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I want to thank y'all for letting me share.
Thank
You have a blessed night.
I found you